Well, hello, cousins. It's Peter. How are you guys? I am really sorry that I can't be there this weekend. We have to get together. I miss all of you. But I did want to say a couple things about your mom and dad. So I thought memories might be a good way to start. So one memory I have is the car ride out to Poughkeepsie when I was a kid. So it was my dad, grandma, and my mom in the front seat, Jeff, me in the middle, and Andy in the back seat. And I got plummeted. And my dad always carried on that trip. We stayed at Erie, Pennsylvania every time because there was a Howard Johnson's hotel that had a slide. So that was our big thing, was to get to the Erie, PA Howard Johnson's to go on the slide. My dad always carried a briefcase with him, and I could never figure out what the briefcase was for. And then later on, after he passed, I found the briefcase, and it was a portable bar, and it still had 2 bottles of scotch and all the accoutrements in it. Pretty great. So going to your house in Poughkeepsie, it was always a gas. I loved it. I have memories of one, Kurt timing your dad as he ran around the house. Kind of funny that I got into track a lot because of having conversations with your dad, and I ended up running in college, which is kind of crazy. And I still run today. The other thing is I just have vivid memories of that yard, the dogs, Martha, in the basement, and also just your dad sitting sort of in the middle of the living room. He always did this sort of cross-legged sit where one leg was up higher than the other, and he would have tons of papers around him, like newspapers and stuff. And he was doing early sports analytics for recruiting for Michigan. Now it's like a real science, but your dad was doing it before anybody else, where he knew every prospect, every track guy, every football player. It was nuts. And looking at their records and how they were going to do in high school, how they were doing in high school and all this stuff. It was really fun. And then with your mom, I always just remember your mom laughing and having a good time and just being there and being as silly as your dad. Mr. Partooni, all those, I don't know. I guess you might say I'm kind of a storyteller, but my mom and your dad were really true storytellers. They just loved stories. They loved theater. I remember your dad playing music that he wrote for, I believe it was IBM musicals that he did, corporate musicals, and then he would sing the songs to me. It was absolutely hilarious. And so just those memories there are just amazing. And then when you guys would come to our place, I just remember how Steve playing with the dog, our dogs. There was just something crazy about it that I loved. And he would get down on the floor and he would be all over the dogs and just playing and having an amazing time. So that's another thing. But I will say that, I also remember I'm not sure Kurt loved, by the way, when his dad is standing out there timing his dad running around the house. And I never understood why he didn't take runs up and down the street or go to a track. But what do I know? But also, just so much good times. I don't know. There was just nothing bad. I also remember the dark side of your dad. And here's my dark side of your dad moment, which was on one of the times you guys came out, somehow a suitcase got left behind or something that had all the kids' clothes in it. And we went to EJ Corvettes, which was our big shopping, center by where I grew up in Flossmoor. And your dad walked into the store with everybody, And he was just like angry that the suitcase wasn't there. And he looked at his watch and he said, "You have 10 minutes." And then he just said, "Go." And you had like 10 minutes to bring your clothes to check out. So God, I have so many wonderful memories of your mom and dad, and of you guys. And I really, really miss you guys. And I miss your mom and dad, and I miss, in the later years with my mom being sick, the only real connection she had to her past, or anyone who could even, that's my dog barking, haha. The only real connection that my mom had, Leo, stop. Sorry. The only real connection that my mom had to her past was Steve.
Okay.
And, and Jane, and about what really happened, because as her memory faded, that was it. That's all she had. And when Steve passed away, I think I've never seen her more heartbroken than. The only other time was my dad, and their bond was obviously ridiculous. So anyways, and one of the hardest things for us was we couldn't at the time, get, down to the funeral or anything to visit or whatever, because my mom just couldn't handle an airplane flight or even the car drive at that point. So anyways, so I have more. I wish I was there. Memories come back all the time, and I hope I see you guys soon. And all my love to you, and I loved your folks, man. What can I say? Huge part of my life. I tell my kids about him. I'll tell my grandchild, who's named Elliot, who was born May 20th. I'll send pictures. Pretty exciting. So anyways, love you guys. Take care.